Good morning, folks. It's Key of W with more Islands of Insight. We're here in Serene Deluge because Serene Deluge is a place I need to be. Mostly because it's got the most puzzles still to do. Actually, let's check what kind, if there's any particular. I mean, I don't think there's any puzzle I'm even close to completing in this zone. I just want to make sure. Like music grids, there's plenty, but like memory grids, since there's so few here, I would like to find this one if I can. These are fine. Those are probably fine. Sure, there's plenty of shy auras I could grab too. That would be a good idea. Shy auras and memory grids, two puzzle types I really don't like. Alright, 2 and 5. One symbol per dark and light area, and the rest is just regular symbols, how they're done. So maybe 3 dark zones here. So there needs to be either a light cell connected to something here or to there. So this A, one symbol per light area means we can't connect to any of these with the A. These can't connect. Actually, that's going to block this off completely. So, the dark cells are going to be interesting because they have to connect to a symbol. What symbol are they going to connect with? So, this is going to connect to the 5 no matter what. This one could connect to the 5 here, but this one can't. This has to connect to one of the... It's not connected to that. This one it can't because this will have to go through one of those two. So it's either going to connect to this 3 by going, like, around, or it's going to connect to this guy. So... Is there any way... Because if I connected, say, here... Well, hold on. Let's look at just this. We have to put a dark cell here to do the symmetry, so we do have to do this anyway. This not only overload the 3, it would put 2 symbols there. This has to be blocked, which means that's got to be it. These cannot, like, okay. Yeah, so this is going to have to come down. This has to be blocked, which means that's got to be blocked, which we no longer can do this. Hold on. Hold on, something's wrong here, something's wrong here. Because we can't do this, we can't have those, so we do need to block these off. Well, maybe we... no, we do have to do this, but these can't connect to each other. Because we have to do this. Can we... No, we can't do that, which means where's the 5 go? What's going on here? What am I doing? Go back to this. We can't fill these in at all, so we can't have white pieces there. This can't be connected, which means this has to be black, which means we can't have a white cell either of those. Oh, maybe we can have this going on. That's true. We can always do this, which means we'd have to block that off. It's the only way to make the 5. This has to come down, which means that is how we do this. This can no longer connect. And we do have to do the same thing as before. This could connect. Actually, it has to. So now we have to connect down like this. Can we connect here? We can. This 3. Well, we can't have this piece of dark. We can't have that one either. These have to come out. In fact, this has to connect to a symbol somewhere, so it's got to be here. So actually, it's got to be like this. That's the only way to do it. And then there we go. So that was just me misreading the symmetrical symbol pretty badly, I think. How about this one? Let's try a different one, see if we can do a better job. Connect dark cells. Anything else? Just that? This can't be it because then we'd overload. So. That's got to be a dark cell for sure. That would overload. We can definitely do this here. Anything else that connect dark cells? Don't think so. Either way. We either go around like this. Around like this. Well, if I brought this up, we would have, well, either this or that. Yeah, we'd have to bring this up, which would bring that up. So I think we have to bring the 2 downward, like so. Now, yeah, the 4 can't move up because it will just automatically block that. So the 4 does, in fact, have to be like so. The 3, no, this has to come out, so we do have to block like so, and then the 5 is done. This 5 is gonna have to be like this. It's the only way not to do it. Okay, cool. Well, I'm definitely looking this way. Just keep going. Closer. There. That was pretty close to the pickup zone, I would say. Alright. There's a ring. Where was it? Oh, it's just right here. I should remember those. Those are the hidden objects I've done the least. I think I've done the most of the hidden cubes, and then arches, then rings. And I don't want to be stuck looking for 500 rings at the end of this. Ah, it's just right here. Okay. I can definitely move this out of the way. Oh, that's all I gotta do. Just always boggles my mind how much simpler the mosaics are in the hub world than they are in the enclaves. I was convinced I sucked at those puzzles because I was just so bad at the ones in the enclaves, but nope, they just really only tried with puzzles in the enclaves. This can move up. Is that going to help me? Well, I can move this out of the way. Is that all? Okay, that's all. Alright. Okay. So, if I were to move down, then how would I fill this section in? Because if I move left, I'm stuck. So I'd have to somehow get in. No, it can't be that move. It could be a leftward move and then around. But then how do I get the rest of this? So my guess is, in fact, no, I have to, this is the ending. I can't make a dead end here. If I move left, I now have to continue the move. And now I got to get in and out of this top section. That's not going to happen. So if I move rightward instead, I could actually grab that whole section like this. And now we could lose this way. So what if I went all the way to the edge? And now we should be good. No, we're not good. Okay, hold on. If I went up, that would not be good. There's no way to cross this corner. This is not good either. Like, it seems like this would be fine. It's just we don't have enough space to get in. So this also doesn't give the right amount of space because we can't, like, this is what I'd want, but I somehow have to get those here. I can't do it from there. Can't do it from there. I could try coming down this way, which probably is it. Yeah, that's what it is. That's a good one. Makes you think, like that puzzle. Alright, well, that's the obvious move. There's no obvious ending point, so the question is, do I go left? If I go left, I have to go down. I feel like this is the better move. Can I go all the way across? No. So if I do this, I can go down, and then I'd have to continue. I think this is bad, right? Yeah, that's bad. So I think this might be the move, but then what do I do after that? Like, this isn't good either. What if I tried this? Yeah, that's it. Nice. That's a good puzzle, too. I like both of those. Really tested the brain on that. Okay. Still haven't seen either puzzle type that I'm particularly looking for, but they could just be somewhere else in this world. Well, back here. I should probably check the upper area too. Keep forgetting to go up to that spot. It looks like this is the only way to move things around, but that's not going to help me. Is it possible that I can move this down? Yeah, I can do a ziggy-zaggy, and then we're good. Is this one complete? Looks like I've already done that one. So no to that. Oh. I always forget about this little island too. Doesn't look like there's much here today. There is one of the music puzzles, so there's that. Okay. Okay. I will admit there was a guess on how far apart the gaps were, because I knew that the top line was just chromatic down, the bottom line is chromatic up. My guess was, well, they're probably not going to fit anything between chromatic half steps, so these are just going to move up by space. But the question was, you know, we only heard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 separate notes, and we have 13 going up. So it was, how far apart are they? That was the only guess I had to make. Okay. I could go down and then up. I know I have to end here, which means I got to be in a 2x1 there. I could be here. It's filling in this part that's going to be tricky, right? Because I can do this all day, but I can't do it here. That trick won't work, right? Like, if I go across first... Oh, maybe going across first is the way? It is not the way. Going across first like this is definitely not going to be it. This is it. There we go. Nice, another good one. I like these. Rolling blocks is turning out to be one of my favorite puzzle types. Definitely top 5. Logic grids is obviously number 1. Then it's toss-up. We got hidden pentads, rolling blocks. What else? Shifting mosaics I also think are really good. They're not as hard as I thought. It's just the ones in the one enclave that are stupid hard. None of the movement puzzles are in the top 5. I don't think any of the movement puzzles are even in the top half. There's 24 puzzle types. None of the movement types are in the top half. Easy. But what else would I put in like top 5? Logic grids, rolling blocks, pin pentads, shifting mosaics. None of the other grid types. I like music grids and I hate music grids, so they're kind of in the middle for me. I think they're a really good idea that are executed very poorly. Here we go. Let's do hidden pentads, which I love. The pattern grids I think are cool, but they the main problem with them is it's an all or nothing. Either you get it immediately or you never get it. It's really hard to logically work out the answer to a pattern grid. And then member grids just suck. So yeah, none of those get in top 5. Matchboxes, maybe? I really like matchboxes. I would also really like to find another one of these pentads. Ah, there we go. Hidden in the bushes. Is it going to be another, like, bush? Yeah, just gotta look in a bunch of bushes. That is not my favorite way to do hidden pentads, just because it's really visually noisy. Oh, that's not too bad. That one's not in the bush. Anything up high? No, no way. Oh, hold on. There's this ledge up here I could be looking at? No, I cannot be looking at it. Bush over here, maybe? Oh, ha. There it is. That all? I have over 8,000 sparks. I can buy something. Hold on a second. There's a matchbox there, which means... Where would... It's in such an obviously visible area from a lot of locations. So is it that? No, that one's that. This... I would think this angle gives me a lot of viewing points, but there's a lot of angles that see that spot. Just checking this corner, nothing. I so rarely come up to this island. Well, let's do another pentad. Might as well clear those. I will be sad to see these go. Yeah, the only thing that would keep hidden pentads from being... Well, aside from the fact that logic grids are so good, the only thing keeping it from being a #1 type anywhere is that there kind of is a ceiling for hidden pentads. The best hidden pentads are in locations that are designed for hidden pentads. And the world that we're in here wasn't designed for hidden pentads. Hidden pentads are just sort of appropriated around the world. Whereas the pentads that are in the enclaves are more thought out. Like, you get some more interesting ideas of what you can do with them. I keep thinking it's going to be around the edge like the others. Maybe we're talking more central in a tree or under this structure or something like that. I already got that one. But yeah, like... It's just like this island was made because it's part of the world, so when the developers were putting a pentad here, they're like, let's just find 5 places around here. So it's not, you know, a fully bespoke experience with... It's got to be more centralized. Like, maybe it's in the tree? Yeah, it's in the tree. Nice. So it's good, but it's not... Ooh, hold on. That isn't the type that's on the bottom of this, is it? I don't think so. Yeah, there's going to be no angle that really gets it. If I go over here... See, basically. Yeah, it's blocked. So that's probably not... I also don't think it was the same symbol. Can I see? Yeah. Matchboxes are another case where it's like, if the world was designed specifically for really interesting places to put matchboxes, they'd be even better than they are. As it stands, it's like there's a lot of puzzle types where the developers are making the best of the situation rather than the world is being designed for that puzzle, if that makes any sense. And I don't think that's an issue with, like, the developers were dumb and they just did it wrong. I just think it's because of the way the game was designed from the ground up, where it was designed to be this vast open world. The open world kind of came first. We need an island here, we need an island there, and we're thinking of some buildings. And the buildings are designed first, and then the puzzles are put into the buildings, rather than sitting down and going, we want these puzzle types, so let's specifically think of what are the best puzzles for it, and then make sure that the world gives us those puzzles. Does that make sense? So with some puzzle types, like rolling blocks, it doesn't matter. You just got to put them somewhere, and once you start, the puzzle is the puzzle. I'm pretty sure we're going to go this way. This kind of feels like a gimme. Yeah, it feels like a gimme. Or like logic grids or any grid type. There it is. It's on the other side of the island. So I need to get an angle that sees both sides of the island, like a pillar somewhere over here. Let's get on top of this dude here. Anyway, like, oh, yeah, that's barely, but I see it. With like grid type puzzles, you can put them anywhere. Just get to the puzzle type, and then the puzzle itself is the thing. But anything that's environment based, such as hidden objects, hidden pentads, matchboxes, even sightseers, they do feel kind of tacked on. Not in a way that's like that makes them bad puzzles, but definitely like they were put in like the environment developer went first, built the environments, and they probably were thinking of good places to put puzzles in those environments, but they were just designing environments. And then the puzzle designers came in afterward and found good places to put puzzles. That just feels like how it was designed to me. Let's get this done first. Now let's go for... I feel like this is the last one to do, so... Let's get both of these guys in. Can I do... Yeah, I can do both of those. So let's get yellow. Now let's get purple and... Yeah, that's cool. And I'm not sure the fix for that, in the sense of, like, if you wanted to take the game from, you know, whatever level it is, from a 9 to a 10, so to speak. I don't think this game is a 9 out of 10. I usually rank things out of 5 anyway, but as much as I love puzzles in this game, I do think there's enough flaws in it that would bring it down. Sorry to say. The flaws usually aren't in necessarily the puzzle design, it's just kind of how the whole thing works together. Well, that's complete. Hold on, that's not complete, Epidemic. This is complete. Connect all dark cells and light cells. Great, so it's got to be a dark cell here. So either we connect these two, or we connect every other thing. That's impossible, so those are connected. No checkerboards allowed. We can have squares, which is fine. This would overload the forest. We do have to block that off. Which means what? Well, it means this got to come out. We could block this here. But if we blocked this here, we have to then go all the way across. So we could also do this, but now this is complete, and we can't fill that in. What if I went all the way here? What would that do? Well, let's see. This has to come out in some regard. If this went down, we'd have to fill all of these in, which would force us here, and we'd be done. So we can't go down. In fact, I don't think we could even do this, right? I don't know. Yeah, if we had both of these, we'd have to block that off. So this has to be a dark cell. So it's a light cell, they both are. So I think this is for sure. This would overload. So that's done. Okay, that's how it is. Interesting. I feel like I overthought that a bit. Anyway, back to the main design thing. If you wanted to take it from like 9 to 10, what I would suggest is kind of from the beginning, you're designing your perspective and your hidden object puzzles, those types of things, and you're coming up with the raddest possible puzzle, and then you're designing the world around it. And if that is in fact... Oh, come on. That's all the way back at the beginning. If in fact that is how the game was designed, it doesn't look like that's how the game was designed, right? Like maybe what I'm talking out my ass. And the designers did in fact start this... Oh, I have to be here. So I have to be here. It's possible that they did in fact come up with the puzzles like this wandering echo is they thought we're going to do this echo exactly like you see it here. That's our plan. And then they designed the world to make this particular puzzle, which I'm not gonna make in time. Yeah. So that's not going to get me there either. No, 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 no. Got it. Cool. Anyway, but like that's an interesting puzzle for a Wandering Echo. But it feels like they built the world first and someone thought, I wonder how quickly you can get from one side to the other, right? That was how the puzzle was designed. Or at least, that is what it looks like the puzzle was designed. So, we gotta go all the way back to the beginning of this area. I'll come back for you, Mr. Shiora. Don't you worry about that. And Mr. Floworb. Look at that. And once again, I want to emphasize, I don't think that's wrong. I don't think the developers were bad for doing that. But there definitely is a sense of some missed opportunities here and there. Of course, some of it is also, there's just a lot of puzzles in the game. And you can only design so many puzzles before you run out of ideas, but I don't think that's it either. I don't think they were like out of ideas as much as they were like, well, we gotta put this somewhere. I've done that maze, so no. Let's just hope you let me stand here. Yeah. Over here, we can grab these guys. Oh my goodness, there's a lot. 11 flow orbs. Wonder if I start here, go in. There we go, good enough for me. Yeah, it feels that way, especially with flow orbs. Feels like they designed the building, someone came in and said, I could put a flow orb here, I could put one there, rather than, here are the best ways to use flow orbs. My big complaint about flow orbs from day one has been how it really doesn't take advantage of the movement system, and in fact, kind of uses them pretty terribly. That's gotta be it. That's gotta be all of those. Be all of those. Oh. Yeah. So like if they had thought, you know, if they had been messing around in like a developer area with flow orbs and they were trying stuff out and they found here's the way flow orbs worked best, they could build the area around using that, I guess, rather than doing this. This one's not a bad flow orb. This one's kind of okay. Actually, I'd say it's one of the better ones in the fact that it's not terrible. But it definitely feels like it's not taking advantage of the fact that this movement system is designed for long distance travel. That's what it's designed for. It's designed for getting from point A to point B very quickly if point A and point B are far away. It is not designed for this, like what I'm doing right now. Look, I'm going, oh, in and out of these corners, in and out, This is not what the game is designed to do, and so the flow orbs that try to take advantage of this type of around the corner, quick movement, avoid the collision, end up really sucking. And, okay, that was really not much of a puzzle. Whereas, like, if I had a flow orb that started here, and then there was an orb there, and then way over there, and then way over there, and then up there, that's more like what you want a flow orb to be in this game. The fact that there are 0 flow orbs that do that suggests to me that the flow orbs were put in after the game was built, rather than from the start. Even if the developer knew they wanted flow orbs early, like they sat down and figured out their 24 puzzle types. Oh yeah. They didn't actually get into the nitty-gritty designing them till they had the world set up. You know what I mean? Alright, here we go. Those can't go. Connect light cells, dark regions of area 3. Okay. Well, how about this 8? Got to connect to at least 1 6. Possibly both, but at least one. Because up and down isn't enough. I could do this and still connect light cells by coming around here. If I went this way, I could still... Ah! Yeah, okay. So yeah, it is this, because I have to make the dark regions of area 3. This will overload, so I can't do that. That's got to be light. This 4 has to move up, so that's that. The 6 now has to connect. Yeah, so the 8 does connect to both 6s. It's got to move up or down just one more time, which is going to make 6 out of these, and this needs to move up or down 2 more times, which does mean it has to go here, and also because this 4 has to be complete. Let's see. We have to do this to connect the light cells. There's really no way to get around that. So we are done here. If I went up, this would have to also go up and around, so that comes down. That is complete. This does have to come up. Now that's got to be complete. We're good here. That's done. Interesting. Kind of like that. Okay, I've been here for like a good half hour. Let's check the upper areas. Really scour Serene Deluge as much as I can. And let's get up. I've been close to here, and then I grabbed the sightseer and ended up doubling back, so let's actually go for it now. What am I stuck on? Yeah, there's a lot of just little collision things like that, which, you know, it doesn't normally bother me as I'm playing, but if I have to do movement puzzles, hoo boy, that stuff irritates me to no end. There's really not much going on here. It's a 3x3 grid. You can't really do a maze in a 3x3 grid. There's nowhere to go. Alright. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, that's done. That has to come out. Do we have anything else? Just the viewpoint numbers. There's really nothing else to this puzzle. This 4 doesn't have to move down. It can just move across. This 2 can't move up. So now the 3... No, so this is done. That's done. Okay, this 3 now can't go here. So this has to come out at least once, which does block that in and that. Nice. Very bog standard puzzle, but it's pretty good nonetheless. You know what? This is another one of my ideas the developer can't do because they abandoned the project. When randomized puzzles are dropped in, they should be assorted by difficulty. So as I'm doing this, like it's choosing which logic grids to throw in of the 600, the first ones it throws in should all be like low difficulty, and as I complete more low difficulty puzzles, then it should load in the others, but it seems to just randomly pick, which means I'm getting like tutorial level puzzles even after I've done 60% of the entire game, which really shouldn't happen. Anyway. Minor thing that doesn't matter that much because I'm still playing and it's still a good experience. It's just, you know, you could have done that. That's got to go down at least once. It can't go all the way down. It's got to go there. Connect all light cells. Ah, that's got to come up then. And then we can't put anything there. We could put all these as light cells, the 4, because then we could bring it up through here. That's still possible. This 4 is complete. This 4 has to move at least once to the right. Don't have to connect dark cells, so I don't have to bring this up. In fact, I have a checkerboard here, so I can't connect both types anyway. I could also just bring the 4 up. Because, like, this is a possible thing to do, but so is that. I don't know for sure in this area. This 4, if I brought it down, then yeah, I can't bring the 4 all the way down. Because if I do, I have to block it here, and then I have to block the 3. So the 4 can't move all the way down. It has to move at least one more space this way. This could still be a light cell, and this could be a dark cell. It's not that this is a dark cell. If I did this... Hold on a second. I can't connect here. So, no, I can't do this. This has to be a dark cell, and then I have to connect in this direction. Let's see. The 3... If I blocked here, it's fine. If I said this is blocked, if I said this dark cell right here, then these 3s are both complete. No, we're still good. We can still bring that out. Nah, if it's blocked. So if that's blocked, that's what we'd have. So this can't be blocked. This has to be a through line, even if this is not how the white cells go. This has to come through this way. So the 5 can't be this spot. It can go up or down. The 3 can't go here because it'll overload. But this 5, no, it can still be a passageway through. It kind of has to be. If I blocked this, how do I get these white cells out? This is the only way. It overloads. So I do have to make this a light cell. Now, if I blocked... If I did this, we're still fine. If I blocked it, though... I don't know if that's a gimme yet. But now this... If I bring the 5 up, I would have to block in here, and now how do I get out of here? So that's not going to happen. This is how the 4 is done. This is how the 5 is done. We're through. So the white cells can't come through here because this is blocked and that is blocked. So we don't know. It has to come through here. Let's see. If I block, I can block this just fine. In fact, I can block all of this just fine. There we go. That's the puzzle. I like that one a lot. Like, this is a good level. 5 pips, I think, should be kind of the minimum. Well, 4. 4 or 5 pips could be kind of the minimum what I see now, but, like, there's a 2-pipper. Like, those should all be done. And I wonder if there was a way to design it so when pulling from the random collection of logic grids, it started by only pulling the low pip ones until you've completed enough puzzles, and then it starts pulling the other guys. Don't make dominoes. Okay. Well, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's about as far as I can take that. The 5 is complete, though. Oh, hold on. No dominoes is going to block those off. So now this is done. This is done again. That can't go. 5 is complete. Yeah. There we go. Connect all light cells does mean I have to bring that out. Okay. That's not going to happen either. No. Okay, what have I done? What have I done? That's 5. That's done. This is done. This can't connect. This 5 is done. Alright, now I can't block that in. This overloads, so I can't block it in again. This has to come through. It can come around this way. That's what it is. Really haven't found much in the way of the puzzles I was actually looking for. I didn't find the memory grid, and I only found one of the Shioras. That's amazing. Impressively bad performance for what I was specifically looking for. Is there one that somehow got into the maze area? Speaking of mazes, there's supposed to be quite a few, and I've only found one that I could do so far. Oh, it could be inside the building. Yeah. Good hidden pen tab. And I've already been here, so let's go up higher. Well. Whoa. Whoa. This is gonna be interesting. How am I gonna get these? Okay, so here. Here. Then we're gonna go around this way, and then here. Okay. That's a good one. I like that glide ring. Like it is in a tight space, but it's not so tight that you're constantly dealing with collision issues. So I am very appreciative of that. Okay, the red one's over here, so we gotta get that angle. There we go. Ah, there's a guy. And he doesn't want me to look at him. That's what the red one is. So I'm going to just turn my camera to the side. It's interesting because what counts as looking at him is not whether he's on screen, it's whether the camera's facing him. So if you're in first-person view, obviously, but in third-person view, you can point the camera right at him as long as your character isn't looking at him. It's very weird. But at least I got another shy aura. Now, I certainly haven't done, like, scouring every single inch of this place. Hold on. Ah, there. But I've gone through enough that I'm impressed I haven't even seen the memory grid. It's somewhere I haven't been. I haven't been to the tops of these areas, I don't think. Could be something over here. Puzzle radar would help in a scenario like this, but I also haven't seen one of those. That's a cube. Neat. And this is a sightseer. Please don't be hard. Okay, this is not too bad. Ooh, a 2-star puzzle. I am very excited to see one of those. Alright, we've got to get between here and then... Is that this? You have to actually get on top of here, I think. Alrighty. 4544. Don't make... So we can't have something like this. We also can't have that. No checkerboards. Connect all light cells. This is the pattern I haven't done much, so it's gonna be kind of stupid to do this puzzle, unfortunately. Because if I've done a lot of puzzles with these patterns, then when I get to a 2-star puzzle, I have enough frame of reference to work with this, but I don't really have that here. This 5 has to move at least one space over. Well, if I moved it here, we either do this or that, or yeah, we can't do that. So it would force a dark cell here, which would force another dark cell, which would force a light cell. So this is a potential thing we do if that goes over. But now this is forced, so we can't do that. We'd have to do this here. We'd have to do that and that. Alright, this guess is getting me somewhere, so I'm going to keep going with it. We'd have to put dark cells here, which is going to finish this off. Push dark cells here. Which push light cell. There's got to be dark cells like this, because again, we just can't do 1-0-1 kind of stuff. It's 4. It goes either left or right. Not sure. It can't go left. It has to go. Okay, so there we go. We have a problem. So this can't be a light cell. So now, yeah, they both got to be dark cells. Means that's got to be a light cell. There we go. So I'm going to assume now this is the correct answer, and I hope I'm right. I don't know what to do if I'm not. It has to move at least one space to the right. Well, if this went up, we'd have this scenario here. We actually could start with that rather than this guesswork down here. If we make the 4 a straight line, we have this issue, which we can't have. So we cannot do these, which means we have to block it like so. And the same issue is going to happen over here. So maybe that's what I'm expected to learn from this puzzle. So I have to move it like so. So the 5 is going to move out 2 spaces in some direction. Not sure which one. This way, or this way. How about for the 3? If I did something like this, I can't bring the 3 down here because then we have that situation. That's the furthest it can go. Can I bring it up? I can. Doesn't seem to have a problem with that. As well as various levels of this. We certainly can't do that. What's the next step here? Well, I can't have the 3 be side to side because then we have that issue. So it has to move down at least once or up at least once. But it also can't be side to side this way. So it's got to be an elbow shape. So an elbow shape like this would force a white cell here. An elbow shape like this would force a white cell here, which is impossible. An elbow shape here would force dark cell. This is fine. An elbow shape there would be the same issue. So I don't know. All I know is I can't do this elbow shape. How about this guy? We can't have a straight line up and down. So it does have to move side to side at least once. Moving to any side forces a move like this, because you can't have checkerboards. Let's see, what else can I glean from this? If I move left here, I am going to require that. That's fine. This is all good. Has to be this. That would have to be. So far, so good. This might get me into the same trouble I had before. Connecting light cells forces that move. Can't be there, so this has to be it. That would have to be it. Is this good, though? This is just a guess from bringing that over to the left. Yeah, it's not good to have a guess that doesn't take you either to the correct solution or to a dead end. A guess this way would force that. That would be forced. Can't have a checkerboard. This would force a straight line. So no, it can't go to the right. So I think actually that was correct. If we have to block that off, then we do in fact have to have this move. So that was correct. So I have to figure out what to do after this point. We've got to do that. Well, that's got to be blocked. Yeah, I can't have that. Yeah, if this is light, this has to be light that overloads. That's dark. That's dark. Come through. We can't have a dark cell there, so we can't have a light cell there. Can't have a checkerboard. This would be a problem. Actually, if we had this here, we'd have to make a light cell there. Which means we couldn't have one there. In order to have a light cell here, we can't have one there. So either way, this has to move down. Let's see. I bet if I'd done a bunch more puzzles with this rule set, I'd know what to do a little more instinctively. I could block this off. I don't know. Or this could be the connecting point. We also don't know that. If I did this, though, we'd have to make this pattern. Is there any way this could be a light cell? Seems fine. Well, we could start with this 5. We could say, what if we brought it over here? So far, so good. Then we would have to bring this up. Like so. Yeah, doesn't seem to be a problem so far. If I brought this through, then nothing can be in there. So I would have to bring this through there. No. How do I bring that through? If I bring this here, I can do it this way. Yeah, that's it. That's kind of unsatisfying because I don't know the rule well enough to really feel like I solved it right. That's too bad. And I still didn't find the memory. I'm probably not going to waste much more time looking for it, though. I'm just going to say, oh well, didn't find it. Didn't find anything like it at all. Just trying to think, is there any place I haven't really gone? Not really. There's the area toward, what's it, toward Shady Wildwood here, or toward Autumn Falls, this ledge area here I didn't really explore. So, I did find a couple other puzzles I can do. We got this guy, which is going to be looking up this way, I think. We're going to be looking at this stuff here. Although, am I up higher for it? No, I'm on top of this guy, looking at it. Yeah. Then another sightseer, which this time is above this way because we gotta look at this building. So the question is, where's that tree gonna sit? There we go. Got a glide ring. Might as well do those. Oh, it's going to take me on a little journey. So probably should have hit restart so I'd go back to where I was without having to do all this again. Or I can do this puzzle. So how am I going to get resettled? I think I gotta do this a couple times. Oh, and then we're good. Really wasn't much compared to the other ones I did today. Hold on. I heard it. There it is. And there's a music puzzle. Might end on the music puzzle. That might be where we stop things. Yeah, that's where the A is going to be, because I heard something below the A. There it is. I like having those when you got two lines now, because then I really got to think about it. More harmonic stuff. Let's actually do this. We got a logic grid right here. Let's end on a logic grid. That's usually where I like to end things. Dark reaches a value of 5. So don't make 4 in a row of white. So this has to be light, because otherwise we have a dark region of area 6. Okay, we start there. No 4 in a row of white means this has to be dark, so we got to completely surround it. No 4 in a row, this has to be dark, so we got to completely surround it. Okay, this is our starting point. We can't have 4 in a row. This has to have area 5, so this is minimum, has to come out this far. We can't have 4 in a row white, so we do have to block it off here. We have to have area 5. This has to be blocked, so that comes out this way, which means we can't block this off. No, we can block this off just fine. Actually, there's no way for this to not connect, because if we do this, this has no connection, so we do have to connect here. That is required. No 4 in a row, so this is minimum. Can't block that off, so there we go. No 4 in a row white anywhere else there. That's done. We just gotta... Oh. How do I avoid this? That's how I avoid it. Nice, I like that puzzle. There we go. I'm going to end things here. Thanks everyone for watching. I've had a good time. Hope you've had a good time as well. I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks. Bye.